Yes, welcome to online study of Indian Penal Code. Section 425 of the Indian Penal Code defines mischief. What is mischief? If two things you should remember that with intent to cause or knowing that a person is likely to cause wrongful loss or damage to the public or any person causes destruction of any property or, or any such change in any property or in the situation of such property which destroys or diminishes the value of the property or affects that property injuriously commits mischief. What it provides? Whoever with intent to cause or knowing that he is likely to cause. First, there is an intention. Intention, what type of intention? To cause what? Wrongful loss or damage. With intent to cause wrongful loss or damage, or with knowledge that you likely to cause, that he is likely to cause, with knowledge that he is likely to cause wrongful loss or damage to what? To public or to any person, then causes destruction of any property or any change of that property or in change of the situation of that property which destroys or diminishes the value of that property or the utility of that property or affects that property injuriously commits mischief. What is mischief? There is an intention. What type of intention? To cause wrongful loss or damage. To whom? Either to public or to any person. And with that intention, somebody destroys that property or changes the situation of that property or changes that property which destroys, diminishes the value of the property. Explanation one provides. It is not necessary that the person must intend to cause or knowing that he is likely to cause damage or destruction to the owner of the property. Owner of the property or to the owner of the property. It is sufficient if he intends to cause or know that he is likely to cause any injury or any wrongful loss or damage to any person by injuring any property, whether it belongs to that person or not. Suppose X has taken the motorcycle of his friend and he had parked that motorcycle, somebody punctured that motorcycle. So, intention is only to cause damage or diminish the utility of that property of any person. So, that's why explanation one provides. It is not essential to the offense of mischief, that the offender should intend to cause loss or damage to the owner of the property. It is not necessary that the offender must have the intention to cause damage or destruction to the owner of the property. But if the intention is to cause wrongful loss or damage to any person by injuring that property, that is sufficient, that will be treated as mischief. Expansion to mischief may be committed even by a person against the co-owner. Suppose two persons are the owner of a particular property. If one of the co-owner diminishes or with the intention to cause destruction or damage to that property, thereby causes injury or diminishes the value of that property in respect of the co-owner, that will also be treated as mischief. Mischief may be committed by an act affecting property belonging to the person who commits the act or to that person and others jointly. Mischief may be committed by doing an act by an affecting property belonging to the person who commits the act. Even a particular person, even if that property belongs to that person or to that person and others jointly. Now illustration will make it clear. Suppose I am the owner of a particular car. I destroy that property with an intention to that if that is damaged, that I may get compensation from the insurance company. Here, that's why mischief may be committed by an act affecting property belonging to the person who commits the act. So if by that some injury is caused to, injury or loss, wrongful loss is caused to another this insurance company or to that person and others, the particular person and others. Illustration: A voluntarily burns a valuable security belonging to J, intending to cause wrongful loss to J. He has committed mischief. A introduces water into the ice house belonging to J. Introduce or allows water to enter into the ice house belonging to J and thus causes the ice to melt. Intending wrongful loss to J. If the intention is there will be wrongful loss to J, he has committed mischief. A voluntarily throws into a river a ring belonging to J with the intention of thereby causing wrongful loss to J. He has committed mischief. So here he threw a ring object into the river. So thereby intention is to cause wrongful loss to the person, to J, that is, he has committed mischief. In knowing that his effects are about to be taken in execution in order to satisfy a debt due from him to J, he knows that his property, personal belongings will be, or the personal property will be taken in the execution of a decree to satisfy the debt of J. Then he destroys those effects with the intention of thereby preventing J from obtaining satisfaction of the debt. Even if that is his own property, he destroys that property so that J will be prevented to obtain the satisfaction of the debt, and this causing damage to J. He has committed mischief. A having insured a ship, you see this illustration, voluntarily causes the same to be cast away with the intention of causing damage to the underwriters. He has committed mischief. A causes a ship to be cast away, intending thereby to cause damage to J, who has lent money on bottomary on the ship. Bottomary bond means some money has been lent on the ship. He intentionally causes a ship to be cast away. What is that? Intending thereby to cause damage to J, who has lent money on bottomary bond on the ship. He has committed mischief. A having joint property with J in a horse, a particular horse belongs to A and Z jointly. A shoots the horse, intending thereby to cause wrongful loss to J. A has committed mischief. A causes cattle to enter upon a field belonging to Z. Sometimes this direct problem comes. They allow these cattle to enter into the land of Z and to destroy the crop of Z. And they allowed that the crop of Z was destroyed. What offense he committed? He committed mischief. He causes cattle to enter upon a field belonging to Z, intending to cause and knowing that he is likely to cause damage to Z crop, he has committed mischief. Why I am telling? What is mischief? Whoever causes or having knowledge to causes or having knowing that he is likely to cause. Whoever causes, intending to cause. Intention is that. Whoever intending to cause or with the knowledge that with knowing that he is likely to cause. Intending to cause or knowing that he is likely to cause. What? Any wrongful loss or damage. Two things, wrongful loss or damage. To whom? To public or to any person, destroys or damages any property. Any property. Or changes or any such damage in any property or causes destruction of the property or any such change in the property. Suppose change in the property, causes any change in the property or changes the situation of the property so that he is likely, he knows that he is likely to cause wrongful loss or damage to any person by injuring any person or whether it belongs to that person or not, that is there. So that is change in a property or in the situation thereof. Even if it changes the situation of the property, which destroys or diminishes the value of that property or utility or affects that property injuriously, causes, that is mischief. He thereby causes mischief. Commit the offense of mischief. So if you go to the illustration, you will be clear what is mischief. Punishment for mischief, whoever commits mischief shall be punished with imprisonment or either destruction for a term which may extend to 3 months, or with fine or with both. Only 3 months imprisonment. For condition mischief, you think of yourself, what act will be treated as mischief? Suppose somebody threw or painted a stone and damaged somebody's asbestos roof. So thereby he commits the offense of mischief. Somebody broke that window glass of another person. So thereby he causes mischief. Or somebody punctured the tire of somebody's cycle, a motorcycle. Thereby he commits mischief. So mischief is punishable with imprisonment up to 3 months, which may extend either rigorous imprisonment or simple imprisonment, which may extend to 3 months. 426(7) mischief causing damage to the amount of 50 rupees. Whoever commits mischief and thereby causes loss or damage to the amount of 50 rupees or upwards. Whoever commits mischief and thereby causes damage or loss of 50 rupees and above, then shall be punished with imprisonment for either decimal which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. 428. Mischief by killing or maiming animal of the value of 10 rupees. Because Indian Penal Code was enacted in the year 1860. By then, 10 rupees and it was a very valuable, had more value. So that's why it provides whoever commits mischief by killing, poisoning, maiming, cutting the leg, etc., maiming, or rendering useless, poisoning, whoever commits mischief. How? By killing an animal, poisoning an animal, or maiming or rendering useless animal or animals of the value of 10 rupees or upwards. Animal of the value of rupees 10 rupees and upwards shall be punished with imprisonment either for a term which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. 429. Mischief by killing or maiming cattle, etc., of any value or any animal of the value of 50 rupees. So mischief by killing or maiming any animal or any cattle or any animal value of 50 rupees, that is punishable under section 429. Whoever commits mischief by killing, poisoning, maiming, or rendering useless an elephant, camel, horse, mule, buffalo, bull, cow, or ox, whatever may be the value thereof. These animals. What are those animals as presented? Elephant, camel, horse, mule, buffalo, bull, cow, or ox. Whatever be the value. Or any other animal of the value of 50 rupees or upwards. Any other animal of value of 50 rupees and upwards shall be punished with imprisonment by the discretion for a term which may extend to 5 years, or with fine, or with both. Mischief by injury to works of irrigation, or by wrongfully diverting water. Suppose that is canal reach was damaged, destroyed. So thereby mischief is caused to that injury to works of irrigation, or by wrongful diverting water. Somebody water has been blocked, that is stored by wrongfully diverting the water. If thereby some mischief is caused, whoever commits mischief by doing any act which causes or which he knows to be likely to cause. Whoever causes mischief by doing an act or which he knows to be likely to cause a diminution of the supply of water for agriculture. That means a person commits mischief by doing an act, thereby he diminishes the supply of water for agricultural purpose, or whoever commits mischief by doing an act which causes or which is known to be likely to cause a diminution of supply of water or of food or drink for human being. Whoever commits mischief by doing any act which causes or which he knows to be likely to cause what type of a diminution of supply of water for agriculture or for food, water for agriculture for food, or water for drink for human being or for animals which are property, or of cleanliness, or for carrying on any manufacture water, diminishing supply of water, shall be punished with imprisonment which may extend to, that is, either the extent for which may extend to 5 years and shall be liable to fine. 431. Mischief by injury to public road, bridge, river, or channel. If somebody cuts the public road or damages a bridge, destroys a bridge, thereby public is affected, or the river or channel, then that is punishment is up to 5 years. What it says? Whoever commits mischief by doing any act which renders or which he knows to be likely to render, which renders or which he knows is likely to render, what? Any public road, bridge, navigable river, or navigable channel, natural or artificial, impassable or less safe for traveling, or conveying property, shall be punished with imprisonment of either duration for a term which may extend to 5 years, or with fine, or with both. What it says? Commits mischief. How? By doing an act which renders or which knows to be likely to render. Any public road, bridge, navigation river, or navigable channel, natural or artificial, impassable. Impassable. Impassable means that cannot be passed, or less safe for traveling. Causes any mischief to a road, which is thereby causes less safe for traveling, or conveying property, shall be punished with imprisonment for either days or for a term which may extend to 5 years, or with fine, or with both. 432. Mischief by causing inundation or obstruction to public drainage attended with damage. Suppose whoever commits mischief by doing any act which causes or which he knows to be likely to cause which causes or which knows likely to cause. What is inundation or an obstruction to any public drainage? Inundation or obstruction to public drainage attended with injury or damage. Inundation or what is obstruction to public drainage attended with injury or damage shall be punished with imprisonment for either days or for a term which makes them to 5 years or with fine or with both. 433. Mischief by destroying, moving, or rendering less useful a lighthouse or steamer. There are lighthouse or steamer for navigation on water or on sea. So whoever commits mischief, somebody damages a light post, that is a mischief. Or whoever commits mischief by destroying or moving any lighthouse, destroying or moving a lighthouse or other lights used as a sea mark or any sea mark or bird or other thing placed as a guide for navigation, destroys that guide for navigation, or by any act which renders any such lighthouse, sea mark, bird or other such thing as aforesaid less useful, by such act that becomes less useful as a guide for navigation, shall be punished with imprisonment for either reason for a week or which may extend to 7 years or with fine or with 434. Mischief by destroying or moving etc. is landmark fixed by public authority. So landmarks are there. That is for settlement. During settlement, landmark is used. Landmark is given for measurement of the land, or there is on a road there is a landmark. Whoever commits mischief by destroying or moving any landmark fixed by the authority of public servant, any landmark which has been fixed by the public authority of the public servant, whoever destroys that property commits mischief or changes moving any landmark, or by any act which renders such landmark less useful, as suppose somebody landmark is there, this that was erased. So there were some distance that has been displayed, that is there is. So whoever commits mischief by destroying or moving any landmark fixed by the authority of a public servant, as per the direction authority of a public servant, if any landmark has been fixed, then any person who destroys that landmark or moves that landmark or does any act which renders such landmark less useful, as such shall be punished with imprisonment either destroyed for a term which makes them to 1 year or with fine or with 435. Mischief by fire on explosive substance with intent to cause damage to amount of 100 or in case of agriculture produce 10 rupees. Somebody bought it, crop upon agricultural crop upon. That is a mischief. If the value of that agricultural crop is more than 10, is to amount to 100 rupees, or in case of agriculture produce, if it is 10 rupees, then the section 435 is applicable. Whoever commits mischief by fire, 435 and 436. Whoever commits mischief by fire means what? Whoever with intent to cause or with knowing that he is likely to cause damage or destruction to public or to any person, and destroy that property, damage or causes wrongful loss or damage to that property. That is mischief. So what it provides? Mischief by fire or explosive substance with intent to cause damage to amount of 100 or in case of agricultural produce 10 rupees. Whoever commits mischief by fire or any explosive substance, he commits mischief by fire or by explosive substance, intending to cause or knowing to be likely that he will thereby cause. Intending to cause, that is that will likely to cause damage to any property to the amount of 100 rupees. Any property of 100 rupees by fire, explosive substance, or upwards, or where the property is agriculture produce, 10 rupees or upwards. If the property is agriculture produce, 10 rupees upwards. So be punished with imprisonment by the decision for a term which makes from 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. 436. Mischief by fire or explosive substance which intend to destroy house, etc. House body. This is section 436 is applicable. Whoever commits mischief by fire or by any explosive substance, intending to cause or knowing it to be likely that he will thereby cause, intending to cause or knowing that he is likely that thereby to cause the destruction of any building. He will cause destruction of building, which is ordinarily used as a place of worship. Will destroy by is used as a building, used as a place of worship, or as a human dwelling, or as a place for the custody of property, shall be punished with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment for either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. What is section 436? That is mischief by fire. Mischief by fire or explosive substance with intention to destroy a house, etc. Again, whoever commits mischief, a person commits mischief, how? By fire or any explosive substance. Mischief is committed by fire or explosive substance, intending to cause or knowing to be likely to that he will thereby cause. Intention is to cause. Or the person who causes to commit that mischief, having knowing that it is likely to cause. What is that? The destruction of any building which is ordinarily used as a place of worship. Any building which is originally used as place of then section 4 for the liable for punishment under section 436. Similarly, whoever causes mischief, whoever causes mischief by fire or explosive substance, intending to cause, knowing it likely that he will thereby cause. But the destruction of any building used as a human dwelling or as a place for the custody of property shall be punished with imprisonment for either for life or with imprisonment of either duration for a term which makes sense, either life imprisonment or 10 years, either imprisonment of either description and also liable to fine. 437. Mischief with intent to destroy or make unsafe a decked vessel or on a 20 tons burden. A vessel which is decked vessel, it is in the dock, or any 20 pump or one of 20 tons burden, if a vessel is carrying a burden of 20 tons burden, that is a mischief is called. Whoever commits mischief to any decked vessel means what? It is in navigation, or any vessel of a burden of that is kept there on the water for the purpose of voyage, on any vessel of a burden of 20 tons or upwards, intending to destroy or render unsafe or knowing it to be likely that he will thereby destroy or render unsafe that vessel. Intending to render unsafe that vessel or knowing that it is likely to thereby destroy or make unsafe that vessel shall be punished with imprisonment by either distance for a term which makes 10 years and shall be liable to fine. 439. Punishment for intentionally running vessel aground or ashore with intent to commit theft. Whoever intentionally runs any vessel aground, that means sink that water, aground or ashore or to the shore, intending to commit theft of any property, contained therein, or dishonestly misappropriate any such property. Intentionally run any, whoever intentionally runs any vessel aground or ashore, takes that vessel, either sink that vessel or take that vessel to the shore. What is that intention? Intending to commit theft of any property, on any property, contained therein, or to dishonestly misappropriate any such property contained in that decked vessel, or with intent that such theft or misappropriation property may be committed, or because of that vessel aground, or because that vessel was brought to shore. So what is that? With intention that such theft or misappropriation property may be committed, shall be punished with imprisonment for either direction for a term which makes him 10 years and will be liable to fine. 4. 40. Mischief committed after preparation made for causing death or hurt. Whoever causes mischief, whoever commits mischief, having made preparation for causing to any person death. So commits mischief, having made preparation to cause death of any person or to hurt to any person or wrongful restraint or fear of death or fear of hurt or fear of wrongful restraint to any person shall be punished with imprisonment by the discipline for a term which may extend to 5 years or with more. What is that? Commit mischief, having made preparation, simultaneously he had prepared for causing to any person death, or for causing any person to hurt, or wrongful restraint, or causing any person having made preparation to cause any person to fear of death, or to hurt, or to wrongful restraint. Punished with imprisonment for either description for a term which may extend to 5 years or with more. This is in mischief. Now let us discuss what is trespass, criminal trespass. Whoever enters into or upon the property in the possession of another with intent to commit an offense, enters into the property of another with intent to commit an offense, or is upon the property of another person with intent to commit an offense, or to intimidate, clarify, threaten that person with injury, intimidate, or insult, or annoy any person in possession of such property, or intimidate that person, or insult any person, or annoy any person in possession of such property, annoy any person in possession of such property, or having lawfully entered into a person's property. Suppose a person has lawfully entered into that property and unlawfully remains therein with intent thereby to intimidate, unlawfully remains in that property with intent to intimidate, insult or annoy any such person, and either with intent to intimidate or with intent to insult or annoy any such person, or with intent to commit an offense, is said to commit criminal trespass. If a person, but a question called what is criminal trespass? Trespass, if somebody enters into the land of another, that is trespass. Criminal trespass is that where the trespass is made into the land of another with an intention to commit an offense. Then that will be treated as criminal trespass. What it says, you go through whoever enters into, either enters into property of somebody, or whoever upon property in the possession of another with intent to commit an offense to intimidate, insult, or annoys any person in possession of such property. Either whoever enters into any property or enters into or upon any property in the possession of another, who is on the property or possession of another. What is that intention? With intent to commit an offense, either intimidate, or insult, annoy any person in possession of such property. Intimidate, annoy, or insult the person in possession of such property, or having lawfully entered into or upon such property, unlawfully remains there with intent thereby to intimidate. Having lawfully entered into the property, unlawfully remains in their property with intent thereby to intimidate, to threaten somebody with injury, insult, or annoy any person, or with intent to commit an offense, is said to commit criminal trespass. This is very important. Mischief and criminal trespass. If somebody puts a question, what is criminal trespass? Sometimes you give an answer that whoever enters into the land of another with intent to commit offense, that is criminal trespass. No, but if criminal trespass is defined in a different manner. Whoever enters into or upon the property in the possession of another, either enter or somebody is already in possession of the property of another with intent to commit an offense. He enters in that property or upon the property, whoever is on the property of another with intent to commit an offense or intimidate, with intent to commit an offense, either to commit an offense or intimidate somebody or insult somebody or annoy any person, annoy any person who is in possession of such property, or having lawfully entered into or upon such property, having lawfully entered into such property, unlawfully remains thereof, there with intent thereby to intimidate. Lawfully entered into property, unlawfully remains in that property with intent thereby to intimidate, insult or annoy any such person, or with intent to commit an offense, is said to commit criminal trespass. This Odisha amendment, whoever enters into or upon property in possession of another with intent to commit offense or to intimidate, insult or annoy any person in possession of such property, or having lawfully entered into such property, upon such property, unlawfully remains there with intent thereby to intimidate, insult, or annoy any such, intimidate, insult, or annoy any such person, or which intent thereby to intimidate, insult, or annoy any such, which intent to intimidate, insult, annoy any such person, or which intent to commit an offense, or having lawfully entered into or upon such property, having lawfully entered into property or either in such property, remains there with the intention of taking unauthorized possession, and therefore remains there intending of taking unauthorized possession of making unusual use of such property, unusual use of property, and fails to withdraw from such property or its possession or use, fails to withdraw from such property for its possession for its use, when called upon to do so by another person, by notice in writing, duly served to him, is said to commit criminal mischief. This is criminal mischief. This law has been changed by a decision of the Honorable High Court that previously, if a tenant was remaining in the possession of that land after the determination of the lease, this criminal mischief, criminal trespass 441 of the criminal procedure under the Indian Penal Code, that is, criminal action was being taken against that person. But now, that is, as per the decision, that is not permissible. So what it says? Section 441, what is criminal trespass? Enters into or upon property. Suppose somebody has entered into the property of another, or already has entered and remains upon the property in the possession of another. What is that? There is an intention of that person to commit an offense. So that will be treated as criminal. Whoever enters into the property or upon the property of another, what is this? Offense, that is with intent to commit an offense or to intimidate that person, any person, insult or annoy any person, intimidate, insult or annoy any person in possession of such property, or whoever having lawfully entered into or upon such property, lawfully entered into or upon such property, unlawfully remains there, lawfully entered but unlawfully remains there with intent thereby to intimidate, that is to ingredient, another ingredient, having lawfully entered, remains in the property with intent thereby to intimidate, then only criminal trespass will be made out, will be applicable. Insult or annoy any such person with intent to commit an offense. There is must be, that person must insult or annoy a person with intent to commit such offense, any offense, is said to commit criminal trespass. It's a very important provision. What it says, Odisha amendment is also there. Whoever enters into or upon property in possession of another with intent to commit an offense. Somebody enters into the property or upon the property of another with intent to commit an offense or to intimidate, insult, or annoy any person in possession of such property. That will be mischief. Whoever enters into or upon property in possession of another with intent or having lawfully entered into or upon such property, unlawfully remains there with intent thereby to intimidate, insult or annoy any such person. Having lawfully entered into possession, unlawfully remains there. What is that intention? With intent thereby to intimidate or to insult or annoy any such person, with intent thereby to intimidate, insult or annoy any such person, or with the intent to commit an offense. or having lawfully entered into or upon such lawfully entered such property, remains there with the intention of taking unauthorized possession of property, remains there with the intention of taking unauthorized possession of that property, or its possession or use, when called upon to do so by that another person, by notice in writing, gives it or to him, is said to commit criminal this trespass. House trespass, criminal trespass and house trespass. Whoever commits criminal trespass by entering into a house, that will be treated as house trespass. What is criminal trespass? Enters into the property of another, or enters in the property, enters into any on property in the possession of another, or with intent to commit an offence or to intimidate, insult, or annoy any person in possession of such property. Then with intent to commit an offence or with intent to intimidate any person that enters into or upon property in the possession of another. First intention, with intention to commit an offence. Second intention, with intent to intimidate, insult, or annoy any person in possession of such property, or having lawfully entered into or upon such property. If person is lawfully entered into that property or upon that property, unlawfully remains there with intent thereby to intimidate. Lawfully enter and unlawfully remain there with intent to intimidate, insult, or annoy any such person, or with intent to commit an offence, is said to commit criminal mischief. So house trespasses, in house trespass there will be criminal. Whoever commits criminal trespass by entering into or remaining in any building. Commits criminal trespass by entering into a building or remaining in a building, tent or vessel, entering a tent, remaining in a tent or vessel used as a human dwelling, or any building used as a place of worship. Whoever commits criminal trespass by entering into any building which is used as a place of worship or as a place of the custody of property, whoever enters into any building which is a place for the custody of property is said to commit house trespass. This is house trespass. House trespass, only building. Whoever commits criminal trespass, first a criminal trespass into. What is criminal trespass? Enters into or upon the property in possession of another with intent to commit an offence or intimidate, insults, annoy any person in possession of such property. That will be treated as criminal trespass. Or having lawfully entered into or upon such property, unlawfully remain there with intent there to intimidate. Lawfully entered and unlawfully remain there with intention to intimidate, insult, annoy any such person, or with intent to commit an offence, is said to commit criminal trespass. But house trespass, in every house trespass there will be criminal trespass. Whoever commits criminal trespass, how? By entering or remaining in a building, by entering into a building or remaining in a building, or tent vessel used as a human dwelling, tent vessel used as a human dwelling, or any building used as a place of worship. If inside a temple somebody enters with the intention to commit an offence, then that will be treated as house trespass, or as a place for the custody of property is said to commit house trespass. The introduction of any house trespass doesn't mean that the entire body or you will go inside that place. The introduction of any part of the criminal trespass body is entering sufficient to constitute house trespass. If somebody enters any part of it and thereby commits criminal trespass, then that is we treat it as house trespass. Explanation. Lurking and trespass. So criminal trespass, house trespass, and lurking. Lurking means having people commit criminal trespass by house trespass. Whoever commits house trespass, having taken precaution, commits house trespass, having taken precaution to conceal such house trespass from some person who has a right to exclude or eject the trespass from the building with the intention. Whoever commits house trespass, how? Having taken precaution. He has taken precaution to conceal such house trespass. Having taken precaution to conceal the fact of his house trespass from some person who has the right to exclude or reject the trespass, who has the right to either allow that person to enter or reject that trespass. Tent or vessel which is the subject of the trespass is said to commit lurking house. House trespass as lurking house. Lurking trespass. Whoever commits house trespass is committed having taken precaution. Precaution is taken to conceal such house trespass from some person. Conceal such house trespass to any person who has the right to exclude or eject the trespasser from the building. Who has the right to eject or exclude the trespass from the tent or vessel with the subject of the trespass is said to commit, that is called lurking house. Lurking house trespass means having taken precaution that nobody can discover it. Whoever commits house trespass, there must be house trespass. House trespass is what? House trespass, whoever commits criminal trespass by entering into, remaining in any building, tent, vessel, entering into or remaining in any tent, vessel, used as a human dwelling or any building used as a place for worship or as a place for the custody of any property. Whoever commits criminal trespass by entering or remaining in building or as a place for custody of the property is said to commit house trespass. The introduction of any part of the criminal trespasser's body is entering sufficient to constitute house trespass. Lurking house trespass. Whoever commits house trespass having taken precaution to conceal such house trespass from some person. Conceal such house trespass who has a right to exclude or eject the trespasser from the building. Who has a right to eject that trespasser from the building or exclude that trespasser from the building or vessel, tent or vessel with the subject matter is said to commit lurking house trespass. Lurking house. So far we have covered this criminal trespass, house trespass, and lurking house trespass. Thank you. In the next class we will discuss the other part.